So this is something I've wanted to do for a while. Take a look at the "You Owe Your Life to Rock" article that Matt Powell, especially, but to a lesser extent, Ken Hovin and other creationists, just love to show just the title of, like a screenshot of, in their stupid videos where they try to claim that, the scientific consensus is that life came from rocks. Because, the easiest way to argue against scientific fact is to just plain lie about it with absurdities, I guess. So I just decided, I'm in between things that I usually do on Sunday. We might go ahead and take a look at that very article. So I'm going to put it on screen and we'll get to reading it. Excuse me a sec, just had to clear my throat. So, this is the piece. You owe your life to rock. Erosion of metal rich granite long ago set the stage for multicellular organisms. Now, I'm an old man. This is pretty much illegible to me at this size. So, we're going to zoom in super old man mode and just read from the get go. So, this way, everyone, even people on their phones, can read along with me. So, that's kind of a plus. But yeah, I don't think I have any other preamble. We're just going to get right to it. Thank goodness for granite. If not for the formation and subsequent erosion of large quantities of metal rich granite on a supercontinent that formed billions of years ago, the evolution of multicellular life, including us, could have been stifled or delayed, according to a new study. This piece being from 2012, June 15th of 2012. They're still trying to pull from this article as if it's cutting edge science. What do you expect with creationists? It's amazing they have any sources from this decade. I mean, this decade, this millennia. But let's continue. For much of its history, life on Earth existed only as single-celled organisms. Certain proteins critical for multicellular life and presumed to have been equally critical for its evolution from single-celled ancestors require heavy metal elements, especially copper, zinc, and molybdenum, says John Parnell, a geoscientist at the University of Aberdeen in the United Kingdom. Previous studies suggest that multicellular life evolved sometime between 1.6 billion and 1.2 billion years ago. Researchers thought that before that innovation, these vital metals were locked away from environments where life thrived, either sequestered in the oxygen poor depths of the ocean or held in ancient ore deposits in Earth's crust, waiting to be eroded. So notice already that this is simply focusing on the heavy metals, these compounds that, via various molecular processes that are way above my skill level, are critical to the nature of multicellular life. Now, Parnell and his colleagues have proposed another option that fits new geological evidence. The essential metals eroded from a rare type of granite that formed in large amounts soon after Earth's land masses collided to create a supercontinent Nuna about 1.9 billion years ago. The team's analysis show the team's analyses show that most deposits of this variety of granite, whose chemical composition caused the metals to be concentrated in ore deposits that were readily eroded rather than distributed throughout the rock, formed between 1.8 and 1.3 billion years ago, when molten material from deep below Earth's crust rose to just beneath the surface and crystallized. The geological record worldwide contains copious evidence that this form of granite began eroding almost immediately, delivering a variety of metals to coastal and lowland environments, the researchers say. For instance, ratios of strontium isotopes in ancient rocks originally deposited as seafloor sediments reveal that erosion from the supercontinent peaked at around 1.9 billion years ago. Also, large amounts of sulfate minerals, particularly ones that formed as a result of evaporation of mineral-rich waters in arid environments, began appearing around 1.7 billion years ago, a sign that metal sulfides found in the ore-rich rock deposits, okay, were eroded, thereby releasing metals. Single-celled organisms incorporated these trace metals into metal-binding proteins that ultimately enabled the diversification of multicellular life. And that is a cross-link to geology.gsapubs.org, a piece from June of 2012. So, we could check that out, but that's like an actual freaking scientific paper, and I do not have the capability to go through all. Oh yeah, that's a big boy. I have it up on another tab. We may have to come back to that way down the line. The team's findings are, quote, interesting and intriguing, says Ariel Anbar, a bio a biogeochemist of Arizona State University, Tempe. Although the rise of oxygen concentrations in the atmosphere about 2.4 billion years ago suggests that increased erosion and therefore an increased flux of metals into the environment was inevitable, the large amount of freshly formed granite were undoubtedly an important source of metals too, he adds. Results of the new study add to the increasingly detailed picture of Earth's chemical evolution at a critical juncture in life's history, says Chris DuPont, a microbial physiologist at the J. Craig Venter Institute in San Diego, California. It's an attractive hypothesis, he notes. However, he adds, another alternative is that life in the shallow waters surrounding the Nuna supercontinent was able to evolve multicellularity by making do with smaller concentrations of metals than are assumed by Parnell and his colleagues, rendering the increased delivery of metals from granite moot. Genetic studies of modern day organisms suggest that the proteins that make multicellularity possible, especially those requiring zinc, evolved rather late, between 1.6 and 1.2 billion years ago, DuPont notes. Before that time, life was constrained and then it expanded. The problem is we don't know what the metal concentrations in the oceans were during this period, and we still have to identify the sources of these metals. And that is the entirety of the article. That is everything that is in here. So, I mean, people like Matt Powell wish to show images of articles like this. And because of the particular way they're titled, just claim that, oh, the scientists say you came from rocks. When no, this piece, like every other one I've seen, when it does bring up quote unquote rocks, is bringing up how they interacted with how the environment interacted with them, not how they interacted. And rocks don't do anything but sit there. And it just amazes me that they can be so blatantly dishonest to a point where I crack the jokes about them being functionally illiterate, but I really have to question if they really are, because if they read the piece, they would realize the claims they're making, the statements they're making, are lies, which are supposed to be forbidden by their theology. But of course, it's okay to lie when you're lying for Jesus. That's fine. I don't know. I just wanted to go on and knock that out, add that one to the video backlog. I have now read that piece. If you've watched this, congratulations. You are now aware of what that piece actually says. And every time Matt Powell shows it with dramatic music in one of his videos, you can point and laugh even harder at him not even beginning to comprehend what the piece actually says. Or point and laugh at the fact that he is obviously a liar and call him such in his comments, because why the hell not? That being said, I am going to hop off here and prepare for the later Sunday Sunfest stream. Um, Thank you to the friends in the chat, and